All right, guys, here we are once again on the road, this time against Gangwon. After losing to Daegu at home, we've actually gone into the under 19s, pulled up a couple of players who we think might be good enough. We got a bunch of these guys today, and we bought a guy too. Is this guy Pyo? I think that's the one that we bought. We have 4 new players here on the squad overall. I think there's 3 in the first team, and then there's 1 on the bench or something like that. We'll figure this out as we go, and we'll see if this helps us out a little bit as we try to do a little bit better than we've been doing recently. I do think part of the problem has been just a lack of rest for some of the major players. And as I always notice in Football Manager, the players who seem to do the worst are the older ones. So guys who are 29, 30, 31 years old, they're the ones who seem to be playing really poorly. Everybody else who is younger seems to be doing a lot better. There's one of them, Noel. Over to Eun Song, Kim Shin-jin over to Eun Song, who's one of these new kids. And he gives up the ball very easily, but fortunately it does not lead to a goal, so it could be worse. And this might be a difficult match for us. Let's see what we can do. And trying to win the ball off of them here. Oh Min-kyu has finally won it over to Yulchenko, back to Kim Ju-sung. Yulchenko over to Kim Song-min. Passes up to Itae-suk. Itae-suk is a pretty poor pass. It's intercepted. Now, the other thing we did is we took, what's his name? Kim Jin-ya, I think it is. We put him on the B squad. And the hope is that without him being on the first team squad, we'll get a little bit better dynamics overall. Pyo had the ball and had that knocked away, so it's going to be a corner for us. It's kind of strange, but this guy who we're trying to sell, his upset feeling would influence us even when he wasn't on the pitch. So, I mean, whatever. Itae-suk with it, back to Noah. Noah takes it back up and through. It takes a shot. Crazy stuff from the 15-year-old center back, and unfortunately it's caught and saved. But really aggressive play there. We're not even 10 minutes into this match. We've had a lot of highlights so far, and there's Nowak grabbing that one in midair and holding it back and calming things down a little bit. He throws over to Kim Ju-sung, over to Itae-suk. Itae-suk goes all the way back over. It's a poor pass, but Noah's back to win it before it turns into a problem. Down to Oh Min-kyu, back to Noah, over to Eun Song, and well, that was pretty bad, wasn't it? It's Ivanovic who's behind the goal and is able to score, and that makes it 1-0 for them. So we should be able to crush Gangwon. I mean, we really are a better team, but this hasn't looked very good from us so far. That was pretty bad, and then our guys at center back were just completely out of position. Not too much that Novak could have done with that, and so it's 1-0 for them. Well, let's see if we can get this turned around a little bit. The player who was upset, Kim Jin-ya, is not exactly, I mean, he's really not good enough to be on the first team, to be honest. It's one of those things that's really frustrating that his upset feelings will cause this sort of thing to happen in the game. And Novak with a great save there. And, you know, it's one of the biggest complaints I have with Football Manager, which is that while it's nice to have a mentality system, it's really cranked up to, you know, infinity almost. So if your guys are upset for whatever reason, they just can't win. The last match that we had, we dominated in terms of XG, and we couldn't get a single shot to go in. So go figure. Itae-suk has it back from Pyo, wins it over to Oh Min-kyu, and his shot is up and high and wild. So still no goals for us. Still 1-0 for Gangwon. And it's Kim Shin-jin who tries to win this and ends up losing it in the end. We are on the back foot once again. And fortunately for us, there's no to win that before it turns into a problem. Eun Sung, who's probably, again, not good enough for this level, but he's trying his hardest, was able that time to not have his pass intercepted, but we had some problems a little bit further down the pitch. There's Yulchenko, who goes back and wins this one over to Eun Sung, who knocks us forward. Beautiful for Pyo. And Pyo just doesn't have the speed. He was behind the defense for a second, but then the defender caught up with him, and that forced a really poor shot. But this is really good here, and it's just sort of a foot race. As soon as Pyo is playing the ball, then all of a sudden he doesn't have anything there. And he had a man. I don't think he realized it, but he had Kim Shin-jin coming in right behind him. So could have been a little bit better, I think. And look, it's Pyo who's injured right away. I think that he's the one that we just purchased. I think that we just got him on a transfer, and so Yeah, he played okay. We got to take him out. We'll put Choi Eun-hak on for him. Choi Eun-hak has been playing very, very well in the under 19s, which is the reason why we've brought him up. He's like the one player who I think we legitimately want to give a chance to here. The other ones are kind of, let's see what they can do. Kim Sung-min over to Kim Shin-jin. And that's knocked from behind, and that is out for a goal kick, apparently. So he didn't get that knock from behind him. Instead, it was he himself who knocked that one over. Anyway, like I said, I haven't played around at all with FM24. Hopefully some of these animations are a little bit better in that game. People talk on the forums all the time about how it becomes really easy to predict what's going to happen once you've played long enough, and it's going to be another corner. And that was another animation that we're very familiar with. How about that? So still 1-0, and we're having difficulty here in the back trying to defend, and I missed putting into action whatever it was that the assistant manager wanted to do. I mean, whatever. We'll just play it. That's what I think we should do. We should just go out and play, and we should play a little bit better than this. We're not doing so well so far in this match, and I'm really starting to wonder what's going on and why it is that all of a sudden we're playing like we don't really mean to do what we're trying to do. This might be a really rough season for us, and as I've said before, I mean, the hope is that we get something in the top half of the league, and then next season, after we get rid of some of these fuddy-duddies, then we can really make something happen here. Lee Tae-suk back to Kim Ju-sung, over to Kim Sung-min, and it's back to Osmar. Osmar with it over to Yudchenko, and he passes this forward. It's going to be Lee Eun-sung with it, and he should have scored. He really should have scored. I know it's a kid, in his first match for the big team, but there's not much of an excuse there. He really should have scored. Lee Tae-suk knocks this corner over, and it ends up nowhere. And it's funny because you would have thought we'd have most of the match momentum, but they're saying that Gangwon has had it. And I think that we've, at least in the highlights, had a lot more of the ball. So, I mean, I don't know how to explain it one way or another, but we should be playing better than we have been. This is pretty poor and, frankly, kind of embarrassing. And Osmar wins this in the back. It's another one of these problems, just as I said, same problem that we had with Ingolstadt all those months ago, which is that you get a team with a whole bunch of older players, as Vanovic scores again. You get a team with a bunch of older players who feel entitled, and then when you want to go over and make some changes and do something different, they don't do it with you, and everybody gets upset. So, yeah, we may think about the problem that we have is that we haven't done a lot of scouting. If we were in a different part of this save, I would just sell everybody over like 25 and start over, because this is ridiculous. He was onside, by the way. That was really poorly done here by Osmar, and that's one of the players I'm looking at saying you need to be sold because this is ridiculous. So we're going to do what we need to do, which is this. And get everybody good and upset. We're going to find this guy. Some of these guys need to be kicked off. So, yeah, this is a problem. And we need to be playing better than this against a team that's really far below us so far. So let's see what we can do here to get some of these guys going. He's been taken off. Let's see what else we're going to have happen. Yeah, this is going to be a problem because we can't make 7 substitutions. All right, so this guy's coming off because he's just not playing well. We'll put Kan Myung-hyun on. I don't care if he plays well or poorly because he's younger. That's the thing. I'm tired of players like Go Yo-han who are 34 years old. We need fewer players like that. The trick here is that a lot of these guys who are in their 30s are team leaders. And so that's the problem, which is that if you get rid of them, I mean, guys who are like way at the top of the hierarchy, then everybody gets really upset with you. And we didn't have enough scouting at the very beginning to allow us to just get rid of the entire top rung of players and start over, which is something, of course, as you can guess, I love doing. Yudchenko, with the ball in a fairly good position, knocks it back to Kim Ju-sung, over to Kim Sung-min. And he takes a wild shot from range that's never going to do anything. So so much for that. And we're going to have to start yelling at these guys. We're going to do some berating and see if that doesn't get them to do something here. But yeah, fines are coming in. This is the sort of match where basically anybody who has a 6.5 or below at the end of this gets fined. And if you get a 6 or below, like a 6.3, you get fined 2 weeks salary. And it's one of those where I'm almost ready to say, go ahead and get mad, right? Because like I dare you after the way that you've played. Choi Eun-hak has given up a penalty here and is probably going to get sent off. So it's going from bad to worse. It is a penalty. No, they haven't sent him off. That's pretty good. And Novak gets the save, man. So good job by him, and it ends up not being a goal in the end. He doesn't grab onto this; he just barely hits it out with his fingertips. But fortunately, they're not able to get a second shot in. So that was better than expected. We will make the change, whatever change it is they want us to make. We need to do something differently. And fortunately for us, that header is a little bit too high, and that's going to be over the bar. So there it is. But this is looking pretty ugly here so far. And I was trying to stay away from this, but it does look like we're going to end up having to hold a team meeting and trying to get these guys on the right page. We're hoping that Kim Jin-yae leaves because the end of the transfer window is coming up pretty soon. If we can get rid of this guy, probably have to put him out on loan, but if we can get rid of him, we would be doing very well, so that he will no longer spoil the dressing room. And like I said, I mean, the stupid happiness system, whatever you want to call it, just totally destroys the game because you end up spending all of your time trying to make players happy, and there's no option to make them happy. They get upset, and then you just lose. Right, so it's kind of a ridiculous thing that Sports Interactive has created, and I don't think it's going anywhere. It's been around for many years, and that was almost another goal. Boy, that was pretty bad. All right, let's see what we can do here. We're gonna berate the players one more time. And they're really going to hear it when it comes to the end of this. We're about to lose this match, probably 2-0. And this is headed out, fortunately for us. Now, it's just the beginning of the season, so we're not completely in dire straits yet, but this is a match that we should have won. This is a team that we're better than, and though we have some younger players on this team right now, they're not that bad. And as usual, the players who play the poorest are the older players, right? This is why I say you want to stay away from guys who are 30 and above. Final score, 2-0. We did have a 1.14 XG, didn't score again, so we're going to take this out on these guys. Talk to you later. Bye.